It's time for the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU, the official local sports show here in Glasgow and Barren County. And now, alongside John Butler, here is your host, James Brown.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag. This week, James Brown and John Butler here talking about high school basketball. We're dedicating 2 whole segments this week to our local basketball games because we didn't have a show last week. John, I decided to take a little break. I'm glad I did because that Monday ended up being pretty crazy because we had a bunch of stuff going on. Basketball games being played all over the place, and I'm not sure I would have been able to even get back here in time to get the show started as it turned out. So I'm glad we took that off. Took a little holiday break. There were some big games played, and we're going to start on the boys' side of things. And then segment 2, we'll talk about the girls' basketball. On the boys' side, both Barren County and Glasgow remained undefeated in the 15th district. Barren beat up on Warren East on Friday night, and Glasgow beat up on Allen County Scottsville, which sets up a pretty big game this Friday over at Barren County between the 2 boys teams. They're both 2-0 in the district. They both have winning records. They're both playing pretty well as far as I can tell right now, John.
Yeah, I think so. It should be a really good game. Barron's 9-3, 2-0 in the district with wins against Allen and East. And Glasgow is 7-4. Their 2 wins also against Warren East and Allen. And I think you're right. Both teams, I think, are playing well. And it should be a very intriguing matchup. Yeah,
and so before we get to more about that matchup, let's also kind of talk about what they did last week. We'll start on the Barren County side because they won the H&H Holiday Hoop Fest over at Logan County. I thought offensively they may have struggled a little bit, but I think the teams they were playing against, especially the last 2 games, were pretty effective defensively against them, and Barren struggled a little bit shooting the ball. But they ended up winning anyway. They kind of gritted out 2 wins there to close out that tournament, John.
Yeah, they didn't have any trouble with the team from Tennessee.
No.
They blew them out, but then played a team out of the first region in Carlisle County, and that was 55-50, and that was a slugfest. And then from the first region all the way to the 16th region, they beat Raceland, which is a team known for their football.
Yeah.
Up in Greenup County, 59-51. I saw that game, and Raceland's not a bad team. So,
no.
Yeah, they won that tournament. They got really, really good production. You know, Barren can go – they're pretty solid 8-9 deep, and their bench play has really, really been good. Maddox Griggs, who missed a couple of games early in the year, is back, and I think he had double figures almost every game of that tournament. Carter Browning, 6'4", has come off the bench, and he's been in double figures a couple of games lately, and he's long and does a really good job defensively, plays extremely hard. And Contavian Fryer has given them some really good minutes inside as well. Contavian's a football player but I really like his attitude, his game. You know, he comes in.
Big, strong kid, too.
Big, strong kid, does what you ask of him. And so, Barron has a pretty nice combination of kids coming off the bench and then some players, obviously Kate Hardy's had a really, really good year this year. He's pretty much assumed the point guard position.
Yeah.
And I've been impressed with his level of play. He hasn't shot it quite as good as he has in the past, but he's distributed the ball extremely well.
Yeah.
And then you have Wes Shelton. I think Shelton's going to be an outstanding guard, sophomore guard, and he hit the big 3 against Allen, down when Barron was down 2 with like 10 seconds to go.
Yeah.
And he's shooting close to 45% from 3. And Gavin Nunn's almost averaging a double-double, 9 and 9, and he's had some big games. And then you throw in Jackson Bird, and they've just got a pretty good versatile lineup.
Yeah. Well, and so then they came back on Friday night. Like I said, they beat up Warren East pretty handily.
Yeah, and in that game, and I didn't even mention too, and Cam Pippen has moved into the starting lineup, and he's now averaging 10, 11 points a game and playing well.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had no trouble. I did their last 2. Warren East is. They're way down. They're young, but they're down, and Barron didn't have any trouble with them. And then Barron went Saturday night to Columbia and played a really, really good, in my opinion, definitely a top 20 team in Adair County.
Yeah. Speaking of that game, I mean, Barron put up 74 and Adair County had 89. They can just flat score.
They can score. They got 3 incredible scores.
Yeah.
The transfer for University Heights, Talon George.
Yeah.
He's averaging like 25 a game. He's definitely D1. I mean, he's a guard, shoot threes. He had 2 dunks in the game too.
Yeah.
Then you have the transfer from LaRue, the 6'7" kid, the Blakey kid.
Yeah.
Who's averaging 19 points, 11 points a game, and then Adair has one returning starter from the back-to-back state tournament team, who's the Gilbert. His last name is Gilbert. He's one of the best shooters in the state of Kentucky. I mean, he is deadly from 3-point range. He averages over 19.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really good team, and I thought Barren played pretty well, to be honest with you. They pulled away kind of late. Cam Pippen had 20, and Shelton also had 20. But LaRue will be one of the favorites, to win that 5th, as well as with Caverna and so forth. But it's a really good team, and so those games that Barren are playing, and they got Warren Central coming up tomorrow night as well, should really, really help them.
Well, and to that end, Glasgow just basically took 10 days off, I think it was. They didn't get to play on a game against Todd County Central because Todd County forfeited the game, so then they didn't get to play that game, and they didn't play again until they played Allen County on Friday night. And I was kind of curious to see what they looked like when they came back after that long stretch off. You kind of don't want to take that many days off in the middle of basketball season, I guess. But they played pretty well against Allen County Scottsville throughout that game, and then turned around on Saturday night and then beat Logan County. Played pretty well in that game. They are really getting to where their offensive rhythm looks pretty good overall. They had some struggles against some zones prior to the Christmas break, and they seem to have worked that out pretty well. They worked on their zone offense, and it showed up. Logan tried to zone them. Allen tried to zone them, and they attacked that effectively. And then Jalen Bradley has just been flat on fire lately as well. I mean, he's been pretty unstoppable. Jarek Martin's been really good. They've gotten some good minutes out of like Jackson Norris, Landon Minton, Trace England coming off the bench. Jeremiah Moore's mostly a defensive stopper for him. So the Scotties are playing pretty well right now, John.
Yeah, in 3 of their last 4 games, they've put up 76, 74, and 74.
Yeah.
And their lone loss out of the last 4 was to Beach out of Tennessee, 59-69. So they, I think I think the 2 biggest improvements from last year, which pretty much they're the same players for the most part. I mean, they lost a few. Is that they're having improved effort throughout the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's not I mean last year they sometimes it'd be one half or one quarter and then it'd be a collapse, and it's just a sustained effort and that they're playing with, which really helps, and they're scoring a lot better this year too. Against Allen on Friday, in which Glasgow won by 19, I believe. I mean, Jarek Martin had 21, and Minton, Landon Minton, he had 16 points and 14 rebounds.
Yeah.
That's 2 outstanding performances. And then the next night against Logan, Jalen Bradley had 25.
Yeah.
So they're being very productive. Guarding, they've always had the capability of being good defensively because of their length and athleticism and so forth. So they've always been capable of that. But this year, they're shooting the ball so much better. I think they're like 33, 34% from 3.
Yeah.
Led by Jalen Bradley, his 3-point shot, and the more they can make from 3 opens it up more for especially Jarek Martin and his drives and so forth.
Yeah. So how do you think this game come Friday night shapes up?
I mean, it's a good question. It's a good matchup. I'll be honest with you. Barren has traditionally the last couple of years had trouble with Jarek Martin.
Right.
And I don't know if they've got an answer this year for him either, to be honest with you. Barron's got good size, and Gavin Nunn on the inside.
Barren probably has a little more depth.
Maybe, Barren can definitely go 8 deep.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it should be a really interesting matchup because the teams are different. I think Glasgow plays a little bit faster. Barren probably wants it a little bit more of a slower pace for the most part. But, I mean, Shelton and Hardy can play up and down too.
Right.
So it's a really interesting kind of matchup and so forth. Sometimes when that happens, it comes down to who makes shots and who turns the ball over and so forth. But it should be a really good basketball game.
Well, I think one of the good things about this game is it's been a little while since both teams entered this game, and they are undefeated in the district and both have winning records. They both seem to be playing pretty well right now, which obviously brings a lot more interest to the game, I think. I mean, it's always an interesting game because of the rivalry,
Sure.
but I think there is more interest because both of them look like they're two of the better teams in the 4th region this year so far.
Probably. I think that's right. I think you can put both of them in the top, 5 or 6 for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. And like I said, Barron's going to be coming off of it with the loss to Adair, and now they got Warren Central tomorrow. And Warren Central is a legit top 10 team in the state.
Yeah.
With all their, they got the Warren East best player, and they got some other ones back. And of course, last year Barron knocked Central out of the regional tournament. So I don't think Central's going to overlook them.
Yeah, a little bit of revenge there.
Yeah, and
for
that
when the
game's at
Trojans
Warren
come down.
Central, so that's that won't be an easy game for Barron, but nevertheless, Barron's going through a pretty good stretch of games schedule-wise, and then have Glasgow on Friday.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Caverna Colonels, they went 2-2 during their Christmas turn. They played up in Lexington at Lexington Catholic in a really good tournament. I think they've lost 5 games, and 4 of them are to top 20 teams because they lost to Bryan Station by a point. They lost to Davis County, where they got outshot at the foul line by 17. They did beat Great Crossing by 12, which is a team that won the state tournament last year. Now, Malachi Moreno is playing at Kentucky now. That makes a difference.
Sure.
And then Saturday, they beat Fairdale over at Grayson County. Fairdale record doesn't look great, but that's a good team, and they play in a really tough district with a really tough schedule.
Yeah, I saw them in the King of the Bluegrass. That is a good team.
Yeah, so
and what I like about Caverna's put up 80-something points.
Yeah.
They haven't been scoring a whole lot. They've been a lot better defensively, but they put up some points against Fairdale.
Yeah, they played real well in that game. And then on top of that, Gavin Lightning, the kid who's not been able to play so far this season, that had transferred to Caverna. His mom's originally from Horse Cave. He's now been ruled eligible by the KHSAA, and they play tonight at Fort Knox in the 5th Region All-A tournament. I'm sorry for Fort Knox to be introduced to him for the first time.
Oh, they play Fort Knox?
Yeah.
That'd be ugly.
That'll be over with pretty quick. But, yeah, so one of the things that I think they've struggled with in some of their losses they've had is they just they've not had enough depth to finish the games. I mean, I think they got pretty good leads both on Davis County and Bryan Station, ended up losing those games in the end because they just didn't have enough people to really put on the floor, either foul trouble or I think maybe fatigue catches up with them, that kind of thing, which might explain the scoring too. They hadn't been scoring. They've been opening the games and scoring pretty well, but then dropping off in the second half.
They've also been playing good competition.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
Yeah, they've got enough players, and this one, when you add a quality player to this, just makes them even more difficult to play against.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but they've been out there playing. They're doing it the right way. They're going to Lexington Catholic and playing that competition, playing the Fairdales, the Great Crossings, and that's what you do to prepare yourself. Because their region is going to be hard.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, Taylor's good, Adair's good.
Yeah.
North Hardin's good.
Yeah, LaRue's good.
LaRue's good. So, they're going to win it, it's going to take a good team to win that region.
Yeah. So, their coaches, Coach Pittman in his first year, he set up this schedule. He added a lot of people, to the point that he added St. X in their final regular season game. So,
right.
So, he was looking at making sure these guys are tested for those kinds of runs because they certainly have the talent to do it.
It's the right move. That's how you do it.
Yep. Anything else on the boys basketball, John?
No, we're going through that second stretch. Got all the Christmas tournaments out of the way, and now it's January, and you're starting to see right now teams that play 13, 12, 11, 13, 14 games. You're starting to see what teams are, the good ones and the ones that are struggling and so forth. You can kind of start to see that right now.
Yep. All right, it's the Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
Welcome home to local sports with James Brown and the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU.
Well, John, the Barren County Trojanettes, they rolled into the tournament over at South Warren and looked like they were going to roll out. Well, they rolled in undefeated, looked like they were going to roll out undefeated. And then they kind of tripped up against Franklin Simpson. They built a pretty good lead and then just could not make shots in the second half. And I was surprised that they lost to Franklin Simpson, but in a way I wasn't because, at some point in time you're going to have a bad game offensively, and you just got to figure out how to win those games. And that the Allie Pennington kid from Franklin she's a tough player to deal with, I'll be honest with you. And Chloe Smith's pretty tough too.
Yeah.
But they had a bunch of kids making shots for Franklin Simpson whose shooting percentages were less than 20 on the season. And so it was kind of like that. As sometimes you go cold and the other team gets hot, and that's kind of the way that game went for the Trojanettes.
Yeah, it got beat 49-47. That's that's probably going to end up being a good loss for Barren.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to go through your whole season undefeated. You don't want that target. You don't want the pressure's enough when you get to the tournament. Mm-hmm. It's probably multiplied if you go in undefeated, because now you're expected to win and so forth.
Yeah.
And I also think you learn more. You can learn from your wins, and maybe coaches can learn a little bit more, but players tend to learn a lot more through losses.
Yeah,
and
hard to fix those bad habits when you just keep winning.
That's exactly right. So that's not a bad loss. It should take some of the pressure off, actually. But I was impressed with Franklin. I've not. Again, you don't see as many transfers in girls basketball as you do boys basketball. So. I did not know much about this Allie Pennington girl, and I think they may have another one that's getting ready to get healthy too,
mm-hmm.
another transfer. So I didn't know a lot about her until I watched her, and she is one of the more unique players I've seen.
Isn't she?
She had 20. She had 6 threes, I believe, and tough shots too. She's a shot maker.
Yeah.
I mean, she makes deep threes, tough threes, she look away passes, and so forth, and. She impressed me, and they played mainly a zone the whole time. But I thought, Chloe Smith's pretty good on the inside too.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pennington, she's averaging 25. In their loss other night to Allen, she had 39.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's for real, and Franklin is a legitimate threat to Barren. I still think Barren overall has a better team, but it's not going to be it's not going to be easy, and now they know they can be beaten.
Yeah.
And I do think long term that will help them. I mean, Shelby Bird had 23 of the 47, and nobody else had more than 5.
Right.
And that part needs to get a little bit better, because that's a lot of stress on one player and so forth. And that's a loss that I didn't foresee, but I didn't know about the Pennington girl either.
Yeah.
I just knew from Franklin who they lost. They lost about everybody,
mm-hmm.
and I did not know about this girl from Tennessee that's come across. But she's a good player.
Yeah, I saw them when they played Glasgow, which she didn't shoot the ball quite as well, and Glasgow managed to get her in a little bit of foul trouble. But when you talk about a unique player, because she is not particularly athletic looking, but her ball handling is exceptional, and her body control is what's impressive.
Yep.
She can get her shoulder on the side of a defender and then make a shot off of it, or if you overplay it, I mean, she'll just step back and shoot a 3 on you.
Kind of like a little female Luka Doncic.
She is, isn't she?
She really is.
She is.
She's a little different. So, but that loss, I think, will really, really help.
Yeah.
Barren. I really believe that. And to
that point, they came back. They beat up on Warren East handily on Friday night.
They did 71-32.
And then I thought they played pretty well, other than a stretch at the beginning of the game against Clarksville Christian, which has 2 girls who are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, there's 2 6'4", 6'5" kids that are D1.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lost 48-38, and I thought they put up a good fight against them as well. So Barren's sitting at 12-2, 2-0 in the district. And I think they're in really good shape, but they need more games against Franklin and Clarksville Christian where you got to fight the whole way, try to come back. That will help you.
Yeah.
In one sense, I don't know if they were really prepared against Franklin in terms of being in enough battles. They're in a battle with E-Town, but you need some of those battles where you can really grow from it, and you got to get used to that stress and pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully they're going to see more of those tough games down the stretch. I know Taylor's good.
Yeah,
Camelsville has got a good team and so forth. They got Franklin again. So you got some of those.
They play Bowling Green next week.
They got Bowling Green, who's I don't think at that level, but they have size and so forth. But hopefully they'll see some more of those games they have to battle their way through.
I think if there's one shortcoming for them at the moment, it is what you just mentioned about the scoring. I mean, it's good to have a player who can get 20-some-odd points, But they have a team that probably needs some more balanced scoring because they have other players who can shoot the ball.
Oh, Addie
it's
Slagle.
Just right now it's just not going that way for them.
Addie Slagle's a good offensive player that can shoot. And against the East, I was glad to see Burton. She had like 3 or 4 threes too. And she made a couple of threes against Clarksville Christian, her and Slagle. And those kids are more than capable and so forth.
Yeah, and Ashley Atkinson, who had a big game against Franklin Simpson last year when they played them, is another player who can score at different levels. And I guess maybe that's kind of one of those things maybe that's happening right now is sometimes when you have a really good offensive player, maybe you get caught watching them play, and so then that kind of puts you in some binds in different situations. But anyway, I guess there's nothing to complain about with them. It's just, they got to learn these things. And like you said, from that Franklin Simpson loss, maybe they got some lessons from that probably. Meanwhile, the Glasgow Lady Scotties have been competitive. If not for the foul line, they may have won 4 games over the Christmas break era because, they lost to
instead they've lost 6 straight.
Yeah, they've lost 6 straight. In the last 4, they lost to Butler County 63-56. Butler County outscored them by 16 points at the foul line. Butler County shot 50 free throws, and Glasgow shot 21. Then they played Edmonson County. They lost by 8 to Edmonson, which is a good team.
Yeah.
They got outscored by 11 at the foul line. They shot 9 free throws, and Edmonson shot 28. Then they lost to Monroe County, and that game was it was a 10-point game. I think it was 65-52. It was a 13-point game. The foul differential was more even there. Glasgow was 4 of 9, and Monroe was 9 of 12. But the one that really kind of killed me was Friday night when they lost to Allen County, 57-41. They were 11 of 30 at the foul line, and Allen County was 21 of 26. And sometimes it's when you miss the free throws that kind of sets the tone for the game too.
And they were 0-11 from threes.
Yeah,
yeah, it's hard to overcome that, to be honest with you. Against Allen, they're much more competitive this year.
Yeah,
much more competitive, and they're scoring better.
Yeah,
not making free throws all that much at times. They're only shooting 52%, but they're putting up points against Butler County and Edmonson County. Reese England had 23 and 22.
Yeah,
she's their best 3-point shooter, and just an 8th grader, right?
Yeah.
Jakata Green, who's I think their leading scorer for the year against Allen, she had 15. Riley Strode off the bench had 12, I believe. But yeah, the free throw line is. Listen, they're not going to get to the line more than other teams in general because of their size.
Yeah, they're not going to get those calls inside a lot of times.
They're not, and they got to rely a little bit more on the 3. So sometimes there's going to be a differential between the two.
Uh-huh.
But when you get to the line, you got to knock them down.
Right.
And they have too many good shooters to go. Sometimes when you go 11 for 30, sometimes it's just psychological.
Yeah, it's infectious, the whole team.
It
it wasn't just one person. Everybody was missing.
But they are a better team.
Yeah.
They are better. Their records, 3 and 9, but that's a little deceiving in terms they have not been blown out much.
No.
And they've been competitive and so forth. So that's a positive.
Yeah.
Now they just got to kind of find some wins on their schedule and so forth. And I do think there's some wins coming up in their schedule.
Yeah.
They have a tough game Friday, obviously, against Barren.
Yeah.
But I do think
they're playing at Hart tonight. That game starts here at about 5:15.
It's a game I expect them to win,
to
be honest with you. I do think they have a real good shot at beating Hart.
Yeah, and then they play Adair tomorrow night, I believe it is.
That won't be easy.
No.
Adair's got a good team.
But it's a winnable game. It's
winnable.
no different than playing Butler County or Edmonson County.
It's not. I'll give it. I think Adair's will be a small favorite.
Yeah.
Adair just beat Green in double overtime.
Right.
Got a real good young player and so forth. But it's a game they can win and so forth. And like I said, I do think they'll be favorite tonight against Hart.
Yeah. It's. I point out these things here just because, sometimes as a player, you're probably losing games and you're thinking to yourself, man, here we go. But really, they are much closer than they realize.
Yep.
It's just little things that are kind of going against them. One of them primarily is at the foul line.
Mm-hmm.
Either they're not getting there as much as they need to, or they're not making them when they do
That's
get
right.
there.
Yep.
And if you that game, they ended up losing by 16 to Allen, but there was a point in that game where they had missed like 9 straight free throws. They'd have been up 4.
Right.
And that changes just the way both teams are playing, at that point.
They are closer than people think, or maybe they even think. I don't know,
So I'm sure as a coach or whatever, to have a situation like that, it can be very frustrating, because you as a coach are probably looking at the players and trying to explain to them, you are better than you realize. Right now, the numbers on the scoreboard aren't showing that, but you're there. Something's going to switch. We're going to win one of these games, and then maybe it clicks for us.
Right, then they'll have an opportunity. Those got these 2 wins, 2 games.
Yeah.
And then they got Barren on Friday, and Barren will obviously be a favorite Friday.
Yeah. But
Glasgow should be able to be competitive.
Yeah.
They should. They should be able to compete with Barren. I think Barren is probably the better team right now, but I think Glasgow's improvement should keep them in the game. We'll see what happens.
All right. Anything else on girls basketball before we get out of here?
No, I think it's, again, just like boys now. I think you kind of know what you know right now. I still think Barron's the best team in the region, but I think Franklin's moved up there, probably the second or third with Cumberland County.
Yeah.
And then Metcalf, who's won 5 or 6 in a row. I don't know about their competition they've played. But and then you probably throw Bowling Green. I think there's your top 5.
Yep. All right. It's Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's Glasgow. We'll be right back.
This is the Brown Sports Bag with James Brown on WCLU.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag. James Brown, John Butler. We're in here solving the college football playoffs, and me trying to convince John that Trinidad Chambliss is going to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft if he decides to come out. I'm wrong about that, but nonetheless, I was going to start with the NFL, but let's just start with the college football playoffs, because one of my favorite things happened, John. The coach that I don't much care for leaves, tries to take everybody with him, that being Lane Kiffin, goes to LSU. His offensive coordinators and all decide they'll stick around at Ole Miss, for this playoff run, I guess expecting it would end after, with this game against Georgia. Well, Trinidad Chambliss said, no, it's not. And then they go out there and they win a game, and then the officials keep trying to figure out ways to add a second so that Georgia can have a Hail Mary win at the end, and then we can, solve all the gambling situations, I guess. I don't know what that deal was. Rule-wise, it was all accurate, but nonetheless, it still felt weird. And so then, Ole Miss is now going to play Miami, which also is a little bit surprising to be there, in the national semifinal, and I think it's great.
I think it's good. I'm for Ole Miss. After what's transpired with Lane Kiffin and so forth, with him and Bant, your goal as a college coach, I would think, would be to win the national championship, and he leaves the team in the playoffs.
Right.
Probably, I'm sure LSU's probably a better job, but he probably also
long term, sure.
Yeah, he probably also didn't think that Ole Miss could win it, even though they were in the playoffs. I think that was part of it as well.
Yeah.
So it would be quite ironic, the team that he basically deserted wins the national championship without him. Now listen, his footprints are all over the team now. It's his team that he recruited and so forth. So I can't.
I think it's Charlie Weiss Jr.'s team.
I can't throw him completely under the bus because he hired the coaches and he got the players and so forth. But I am all in on Ole Miss. I'm for them. It's a great story how the team is. They played a great game against Georgia, the comeback victory and so forth, with their head coach and about half the assistants. The head coach is definitely gone. Half the assistants are on LSU's payroll.
Yeah, they're already committed.
But still, calling plays for Ole Miss while also recruiting for LSU. It's a real odd dynamic that's going on.
This situation is the clearest indicator that present-day college football is all jacked up.
Oh, of course it is.
It's just wild.
It's a horrible system.
Yeah.
Where at the same time the transfer portal is open right now while the playoffs are still going on.
Yeah.
And just another, weird deal. But yeah, I'm definitely for Ole Miss. Great win against Georgia, and I think they'll beat Miami.
The interesting thing to me is Miami, I was not sure should be in these playoffs, but in these playoffs, their defense has played much better than I expected. And that's really been the key to what they've been able to do is their defense has been really good. I did not know Miami's defense was that good because it didn't seem that way during the regular season. And so I find that matchup between what Ole Miss is capable of doing on offense and how Miami's defense has played in these playoffs to be a pretty fascinating matchup.
Yeah, they've been outstanding. I mean, knocking off Texas A&M at Texas A&M.
Yeah,
and then
holding them to 3 points.
Hold them to 3 points, and then knocking off Ohio State.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
holding them to 14 points, I think it was.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's quite impressive.
Yeah.
You know, so they are for real, but they're going to have to really slow down they're going to really slow down Ole Miss, and we'll see how much Ole Miss has left. You know, have they emptied the tank against Georgia, or do they still have things left and so forth? And how good is their preparation when you have coaches, 1 foot in and 1 foot out too? That concerns me.
Divided attentions. They're trying to get ready for this. Right. And meanwhile, though, Indiana clearly looks like the best team.
I think they're the best team in the country.
Yeah,
I do. I mean, they destroyed Alabama.
Yeah,
unlike Alabama's ever been destroyed.
For real.
Probably a good word is they humiliated Alabama.
They really did.
And they've come off. That's after kind of handily beating Ohio State too in the Big Ten championship. So, it's a rematch between Oregon and Indiana.
Was that Oregon's only loss this season?
Yeah, in which Indiana went up there and beat Oregon at Oregon.
Yeah, by 10, I think it was.
Yeah, like I said, I think Indiana's the best team in the country.
Yeah.
I think they'll beat Oregon, and I would love to see an Indiana-Ole Miss final. I think it'd be a great story.
Yeah.
It's hard to – the job that Indiana – the coach at Indiana has done, it's incredible. I mean, 3 years ago they won 3 games. And he came there last year, hit them in the playoffs last year.
Yeah. And
now, on the verge of an undefeated season that could win the national title for a team that's as bad of a football program in the history of Power 5 football programs. Indiana is it's an incredible story.
To that end, I think 3 years ago they had 3 wins, and one of them was a kind of a miraculous win against WKU, as I recall. Was that season? And
I don't know if it's that season. It may have been the year before. I'm
yeah.
not sure.
So, but I mean, they were
Michael Penix.
Penix
played in that game.
Yeah. So they were a program that a good win for them was beating WKU.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not knocking WKU, but they're not a Power 5 program.
Right.
I mean, it's you're in the Big Ten. You're supposed to beat a WKU by 30. And they were scraping by, the bottom side of their schedule.
Right.
And I'm with you. I'd love to see Indiana Ole Miss in the championship game. I think Trinidad Chambliss, he's trying to have another year of eligibility, and right now it's reported he's going to stay at Ole Miss. If he does, not go to LSU. He'll make a lot of money if he stays in college. If he gets that extra year of eligibility, he's trying to get a medical red shirt for the 2022 season, I think it was.
Because that's all that matters.
Yeah.
You make him a lot of money.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I think if he were to come out in this NFL draft, I mean, Mendoza would be the number 1 quarterback taken. He might be the second best. He might be the number 2 quarterback taken based on how he's played without Lane Kiffin there.
You would think, but if he's a first-round pick, then he should be coming out. He's 23 years old.
Oh, yeah.
He's 23, and I just looked up his height. They got him listed on their website as 6'1".
Okay.
So
maybe he's not that big.
Yeah, so he's 6'1", 23. I would think if he's a definitely top pick, he's coming out. So I don't really know what I'm missing with him. Maybe he's a little undersized. I kind of look like Bryce Young a little bit to me, but, man, he can make plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can come back and make over $1 million in college. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, that's never a bad deal to do, but listen, I'm pulling for him, but I'm also pulling for Indiana too. I love the story. I've never been for Indiana hardly anything in my life, but I love the story.
I've never really been for either one of these schools in anything much.
It just shows you if you're in a Power 4 conference,
yeah,
and you're going to get all this money that their Power 4 conferences get.
Then
it comes down to how you spend your money, coaching, and how you spend your money. That's what it comes down to now.
Yep.
So if Indiana and Vanderbilt can win, then any of the Power 4 conferences can win. Now, if you're not in the Power 4 conference,
no, you're out. Yeah.
You're pretty much you don't have the funds to go out and get these players.
Speaking of Bryce Young, we also have the NFL playoffs kicking off this coming weekend, and the Panthers managed to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they backed in it. They're 8-9.
Yeah, they get to host the Rams, and
they had to have Atlanta beat New Orleans to get in. Because they couldn't beat the Bucs the day before.
Yeah, I don't know if they're the worst team that ever make the NFL playoffs. Probably not, but they were terrible at the beginning of this year, and then Rico Dowdle started running the football like a madman, and suddenly they won some games they needed to win. I mean, including beating the Rams, I think, earlier this year. So, I mean, it's kind of like they're here. They're going to host the playoff game, but they are not a team we want to see play football. We were hoping their season was done. Not that we're really for the Buccaneers. I mean, me personally.
Right.
I mean, but at least being 9-8 instead of 8-9 looks better on paper.
Yeah, it's a bad division. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
in fact, there's actually 3 teams that finished the same. I mean, Atlanta also finished.
Yeah,
8-9.
that's right.
Yeah,
And the Saints may have been, until they lost that game to Atlanta, they
played
may have
well
been the
down
best
the
team at the end of the season.
with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah. So
Probably had
Tyler
more-
Shuck.
They probably had more hope than the rest of them.
They really did.
Yeah, Atlanta fired their coach today.
Yeah.
And GM.
Yeah, they said hit the bricks.
Yep.
Meanwhile, also in the NFC, we've got the Eagles and the 49ers and the Bears and the Packers. The Seahawks ended up with the number 1 seed. I honestly still think the Rams are the team to beat, despite the fact that they're not.
And they got to go on the road.
Yeah, they're to Carolina.
Right, but they may go after that too.
Yeah. So, I mean, they picked a hard path to try to get there if they are the best team because they didn't win some games they needed to win. But I still think overall they're probably the best team. What do you think?
I tend to agree with that. If I had to rank them, the favorites at the NFC, I'd probably put them up there. Philadelphia's kind of they're the defending champions.
Yeah.
They've kind of played ugly for the most part.
Yeah.
But
They were kind of like the Chiefs were last year
but
getting to the
it's
Super Bowl.
very, very similar. So somebody's going to have to beat them, and they're very good defensively and so forth. I don't think the Bears are quite ready yet. They've lost their last 2.
Yeah.
I think San Francisco's too beat up.
Yeah. Defense is in bad shape.
So I'd go the Rams or Philadelphia, I think. And I mean, Seattle's got the best record, and they just went into San Francisco and won. But just they may be a year away too. I'm not really for sure.
Yeah, their defense is really good, but their offense is just pretty sketchy. You just never know.
Yeah, not bad. Sam Darnold's had another good year.
Yeah.
He's got to perform in the playoffs. He hadn't really done that, but he's been. Minnesota sure would have liked to have him again this year.
Wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we've got on the AFC side, the Patriots are hosting the Chargers, the Jaguars host the Bills, and the Steelers host the Texans. Another game, man, speaking of games that are crazy, that Steelers-Ravens game last night, winner makes the playoffs.
Right.
You look at it, you've got a 4th and 7. Lamar Jackson throws a pass to set them up and then he takes a knee to set them up for a field goal in a game that they looked like they were going to dominate and then suddenly went flat for 3 quarters. Yeah. And then they come up here and they miss the field goal at the end and end up losing 26-24.
Well, both quarterbacks played well. All the criticism Aaron Rodgers has taken, he played really well.
Yeah.
I mean, he was threw for 3 touchdowns and he made 47 passes too without Metcalf, his best receiver.
Right.
And they, score with about 40 seconds to go, come back and take the lead. So he played well, and Lamar played pretty well too.
Yeah.
There was one broken play touchdown, but he made the big 4th down conversion to set them up for the field goal after the Pittsburgh kicker missed the extra point.
That's right.
Only his second missed extra point in 4 years. And he's clutch too, Chris Boswell.
Yeah, it was one of those games.
So instead of being up 3, now they're only up 2.
Yeah.
The only criticism I would have of Baltimore is they had another timeout left after they made the 4th down conversion. They had 16 seconds to go with the 1 timeout, and they decided to take a knee and then call timeout with like 3 seconds rather than they could have run Derrick Henry and maybe picked up 3 or 4 more yards possibly. You never know or whatever, and rather being a 43-yard field goal, which is most NFL kickers make this, and this is a rookie, but he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Most of them make 43 you make about 95% of those.
Yeah.
But maybe get it to 39 or 38, maybe. I'm just saying.
But,
but there's a lot of pressure on a rookie kicker, and it's never close. He pushed it right, and I feel bad for them either way. I just feel bad when for like a kicker, your only job. That's really your only job is to go in and do that, and that's a kick that you make 90-95% of the time, and then you miss it. That's a tough one. I also felt bad for the Pittsburgh kicker too.
Yeah,
when you missed the extra point. Those are some tough way to, because you got to face those other guys who are out there.
I mean, you got to face a guy who completed 4th and 7 on a 26-yard pass to get you the best possible opportunity.
That's right.
Really,
and the coach and the players and all that other stuff. That's tough, but that's why they get paid good money too. But that's the good and the bad of sports. You got to ride that emotion.
That's why we watch it. Really.
Yeah, that's right.
Meanwhile, I think the Broncos are the 1 seed, but I don't I don't favor them to win the AFC. I guess until such time as Josh Allen's legs fall off, I give him the greatest chance to figure out a way in this field to get to the Super Bowl.
Well,
his team's not that good.
No, he's the best player.
Yeah.
Best quarterback left, I think. I think he's the best player in the league, but I don't think his team is as good as in the past either.
Right.
So, and he's got to go on the road, too. He's
Yeah.
got to go to a red-hot Jacksonville team who's won like 8 in a row.
Yeah.
That won't be easy.
No.
That won't be easy. Now, he didn't have Kansas City or Baltimore in the way, but I don't think they were real good this year anyway.
No.
So you got them out of the way. You got New England led by a second-year player who's probably going to be the MVP maybe, you know, Drake May. But they've had a pretty soft schedule for NFL purposes.
Yeah.
Denver just squeaks by no matter who they play. So,
Right.
yeah, you know, if you tell me 3 weeks from now I wake up and the Bills are in the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be surprised. I also wouldn't be surprised they could be 34-31 and Josh Allen plays great, but they lose.
Yeah, that's right, because they can't stop the run.
That's right, and then he gets blamed for he can't win. You know, he can't win with all these other ones. That you can hear the narrative.
Yeah, he's living that Dan Marino life at this point.
That's correct, and for all of the criticism Lamar has had, he's not played well in the playoffs either.
No,
he played really good yesterday, but you know it's a team game.
Yep, that's right. All right, it's Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's Glasgow. We'll be right back.
This is the Brown Sports Bag with James Brown on WCLU.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag. Before we get out of this show, I wanted to mention real quick that the Barren County Hall of Fame is on Friday night.
Sports Hall of Fame.
Sports Hall of Fame, yes, Sports Hall of Fame. And our own Jay Turner, voice of the Trojans, he is being inducted, and so congratulations to him.
Absolutely.
And so there will be ceremony at 7 o'clock between the two games. Obviously, it'll be a great crowd because it'll be Glasgow and Barren County playing each other, so it should be a great turnout. We'll have, obviously, the broadcast here. If you want to listen to the Glasgow broadcast, it'll be on 103.1 with Chase Landrum on the call, and the Barren broadcast 104.7. I think you and Robert are going to be filling in for Jay. Is that right?
We're going to try.
You got to get those pipes down, John.
I'm not doing play-by-play.
Okay.
Robert's going to try to do play-by-play. The easiest job is color. What Jay does and what Robert's going to attempt to do, that's the hard part.
I did that with Jay one time over at Campbellsville, and all I could think to myself while he was calling the game was he's sitting there writing in his book and whatever and talking, and I'm like, I don't know how he's doing this.
Yeah, because, you know, when you're doing it, you got to know kids' names. You don't have a chance to, every time somebody has the ball, keep looking down. You got to remember their names,
right.
When to go to break, commercial, advertisers. I mean, there's a lot.
It is.
I couldn't get us on the air. You know, all the stuff to get you on the air. So I hope Robert's going to be ready.
Good. Well, so we'll be celebrating that. I think another person going in on that Hall of Fame class that stood out to me was Jerry Eubank. Yeah. He was a football coach there for, I think, 12 or 13 seasons.
Late 70s, early in the mid.
Yep. I think he's
80s.
Still their winningest coach. He had 100 wins, I believe, at Barren County.
Great guy. Then he got out and then went to Glasgow.
Yeah.
Did
he was
a great job at Glasgow.
A couple of years of assistant at Coy Meadows over there, and then went to the state finals twice with lost to Boyle County twice at Glasgow. So he had a good run. Great coaching career. Good guy. And I apologize. I know they're putting in the 1990 cross country team that I believe won the 3A state cross country meet.
Coach Reed and Coach Metzger.
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
So that was a good group there. Reed was head coach, and I believe Steve Metzger was on that team. I believe is the way it worked
Steve
out.
on the team in
90? I believe that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Reed was head coach, and that was maybe Metzger's senior year.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Okay.
Anyway, it was a good group. They did well. And there are a couple of other people whose names I can't remember off the top of my head. I apologize I didn't write those down. But I think that'll be good that they'll be over there. And you'll get to hear Robert and John try to be Jay Turner.
Boy. Yeah.
Hey, look, no pressure, John. It's just Glasgow versus Barren County over there at Barren County High School.
Pressure's on Robert, not me.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody in town will be listening to that broadcast.
It'll be fun. It should be a great night.
Yeah, and like I said, the games start at 6. Girls' game tips at 6. The ceremony will be at 7 o'clock between the two games, and should be a lot of fun. Anything else before we get out of here, John?
No. Looking forward to it. Should be a busy week.
Yep, that's right. All right. Coming up here in about 15 minutes on the 103.1 broadcast will be Glasgow versus Hart County girls tip at 5:30. We start the broadcast at 5:15, and then the boys game will follow. And that's it. This is Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's Glasgow. We'll be back next week.
You've been listening to the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU. Be sure to join James and John again next Monday at 4 for another edition of the Brown Sports Bag.